Well, for this update, I want to talk about silver investing and penis health. And that's actually been one of the major topics, actually, when you're looking, people are inquiring about health. It's always about sexual health. Women are asking about it, males are asking about it. I know on this channel, it seems like I have like 95% male viewers, probably because I'm always like to present lovely females with motorcycles and bicycles. And also, as a tip, if there's a female listening to this, one of the best things that are for the female shape is to bicycle. It could actually be very enjoyable, and it could also be on a stationary bicycle, which are one of the most inexpensive types of aerobic fitness equipment to buy for the home. And actually the portability, I should get into a little bit more on that too, but that can present some of the best things for aerobic activity on a cheap basis. It does give good shape to the butt, and as you lift your legs, it brings tightness to the stomach too. It brings into being the lower abs. But I'm going to actually start doing some videos now more with incorporating health and investing at the same time. More of a hodgepodge mixture. So I'm going to talk a little bit about penis health too, which was a lot of, that's one thing. If you see out there on the market, there's like major bucks going on with these pills to be sold to guys that like, make your penis is 10 inches big and all this garbage. It's a bunch of garbage basically. But I'm going to say a couple tips out here that are very cheap to do that people would not think of. Some things are just from plain old foods. Now, first I'm going to get on with investing first. Now, one thing, silver, right? Everybody talks about silver and gold. Actually, I like silver better. And, because the gold deal is like, it really has no utility as much as silver. I think silver is going to be the big winner at some point in time. But as in anything, I can't overemphasize this enough. There is no such thing as a safe haven. There's a safe haven when it's low, and it's a valuable asset, and it's low. That's the important thing. There's no such thing as a permanent safe haven. Just like right now, it almost seems like the U.S. dollar is a safe haven. It's almost like the opposite. You got to, it's almost have to have that counterintuitive type of opposite mentality that Mark Farber has. That's really how he gained a lot of his wealth. But he doesn't just go counterintuitive. He looks at things that are solid. But nothing is solid forever. It's like trying to move to the high spot of quicksand. That's really what the investment market is. But right now, besides silver, guns and ammo. And actually, if you look at the stocks like Ruger, they flew. They really flew in the last election, right? This last election about a few weeks ago, those stocks and guns and stuff went up a good 10% overnight when Obama got elected. And, everybody needs to protect their physical wealth. So, really, figure it out. That's a necessity. But it's not just that. It's hunting, too, right? You have all this small game out here. There's like, out west there must be a gazillion rabbits out there. I used to see them when I was running out there in the hills. You'd see a rabbit every freaking 2 feet for miles some places. So, there you have your guns. Farmland. Farmland produces. That's what Jimmy Rogers is into, agriculture. Farmland makes a lot of sense. It's like having your old gold and silver mine. It keeps producing something people must absolutely have. Yes, it's not going to be the thing that's going to be forever safety, but it's the safety right now, because as the currency goes downhill, one thing people are going to spend money on that's absolutely essential is food. But you all want to be able to produce your own food. Lumber. Timber and lumber, and and for the average person, this should be pressure treated lumber. So, and that's something you could store for many, many years. And if you stain it with some good, solid stain that's guaranteed for 15 years, and you're doing that over pressure treated lumber, oh God, that can last for decades. That's a solid investment. If you have to do any kind of repairs or anything due to weather, you got some stuff out there you can do them with. Diamonds, another thing. Now, these things can be a rip-off because you got to watch. You can get ripped off pretty easy. But still, diamonds are always been something that are worth a lot of money. And any kind of precious stones, any kind of jewelry, any kind of artwork, too. Even artwork. I didn't put that on here, but that's something else. Liquor and wine. A lot of times, the older it gets, the more money it's worth. That's something else. And people seem to always want booze no matter what. You know, it's actually, you think about it, like vodka in Russia has been something known as a healer. Been, you know, in folklore, it's been used for all kinds of ailments. And brandy also, like, you know, the Swiss with the dog, it runs up to you to St. Bernard, and you're stuck up there in the mountains, and they come up there and you got some brandy, right? Now, you know, that's something I want to point out, that there's no such thing as a permanent safe haven. You know, the biggest example was real estate. You remember what happened in real estate? Real estate crashed. And, of course, man, there's a million arguments out there. It always produces income. Everybody needs real estate. You can't do without real estate. But what happened? It can get too far ahead of itself. But right now, silver is not too far ahead of itself. If the mines aren't, let me put it this way, real simple with silver, why is the price too low? Because the mining stocks are going down because they're not profitable enough, because the silver price isn't high enough. But if silver got up to $50, the mining stocks in silver would be very profitable at current crude oil prices. At current crude oil prices. Let me repeat that. See, what I'm telling you here is like facts, but they're the type of facts you got to watch for. You know, I'm neither into the major media and I don't follow like all the conspiracies out there on YouTube. But that's a fact. Now, if crude oil goes way up, the mining costs go way up, because I showed those big spreadsheets with the mining operation before a couple times. A major percentage, like I think about 40% of the operating cost, is actually diesel fuel cost for mining operations and energy cost. It's a very energy intensive operation. So the only way a mine could be profitable when crude oil, say, goes up to, say, $120 a barrel, $150 a barrel due to tensions in the Middle East, is the price of the product has to go up. So that's usually why the correlation, it actually is a fact, the correlation between oil and silver is not good, but when oil goes way to hell up, the correlation between oil and silver gets very tight. It gets very tight. So that's something else. Now, getting on with, I was going to get on with sexual health, and actually these work on both males and females. Some of the best herbs out there are these 5, and you can pick these up on either the best prices I found, because I've been looking around. I always buy supplements. I don't always buy these supplements because I want to point out something common sense about sexual health and everything. The best place I get supplements is from Puritan's Pride, and also Swanson Vitamins. That's personally why I found the best deals. And also Amazon sometimes too. Amazon.com. So, but, you know, I don't take these things because I got to say something, but these are the 5 best ones. The one on here that's probably the most expensive is Long Jack. Maca is not much money. Tribulus is not much money. Tonkat Ali is not much money. Uhimbi, and this one is really not. The second one is not that much money either. It's maybe twice as much money as the other ones, but they're like a few bucks. But you know, I would suggest, if you want to try these, to get them off one of those 2 sites, because they're a lot cheaper than, you know, these other places that sell them for $50. And, you know, they're actually only $3-4 on a bottle on the other sites. They're cheap. But I'm going to say something about sexual health, though, that's very important. One of the best things out there actually is natural foods. Overall health actually relates to sexual health big time. You know, one of the things that they put in these pills for like male health and stamina, and it's also found in like athletic pills, in other words, where you have more oxygen in your body and stuff, is arginine, which is a protein. Arginine, L-arginine or arginine, A-R-G-I-N-I-N-I-N-E, I believe it is. And where it is found, it's certain types of nuts, but also spinach. So you heard, you know, you saw those cartoons way back with Popeye the Sailor Man. He's always trying to, you know, when he's getting beat up and stuff, he gets his spinach and he eats it through his pipe or something. Spinach actually has one of the things in it, the arginine is loaded with that is very good for sexual health, male stamina, and that type of stuff. So, and you know, what does it cost? Like, you can get a frozen bag of spinach, say at Walmart, for $1. So you can get a dozen bags for $12 or something. That has loaded with arginine. So if you take that and you cook that, not too much, just heat it up, and you add to it turmeric and black pepper, because I always said turmeric is very powerful for anti-cancer, good for blood circulation, antioxidant, very good for like anti-aging. Black pepper makes it last in the body much longer. And I don't know the exact, mixture. I always put more turmeric than black pepper because I don't like putting way too much black pepper. Rosemary, basil, some red peppers, things like that, some hot peppers, hot sauce, and various herbs, oregano. Actually, you have a big time sexual stimulant type of healthy food for like change, and it's a food too. So the foods that you eat are actually a lot more important than sometimes the herbs. But I would recommend these herbs. Probably number 2 on this list is probably the most expensive, but all the other ones are very cheap, very cheap. And go to those 2 sites I was talking about, Swanson Vitamins and Puritan.com, if you're interested. But mainly the actual sexual health is more due to the food you eat than anything. Now, as far as investing in women, I'm going to say one thing. Never tell a woman what you invest in. Never. Never, 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 never. That is cardinal rule number 1. Never tell her what you got. Never share in a bank account. Don't always avoid the subject. That's cardinal rule number 1. Guarantee you. Do not ever buy this is investment rule number 2. Do not buy a house while you're married. I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but if you have your own house and you become married, it's one thing. If you buy a house while you're married, it becomes a joint venture. So anything you put into that house, I'm going to tell you in the long run, may be a bad investment. I'm not sure. It could be. In today's world, with the communist movement out there, which is linked to the feminist movement, there's a big thing to be independent as possible for women. And so you have to actually plan your financial strategies around that too. So always keep secrecy as far as investing goes. But the woman that changes her own tire is probably a good investment. I would imagine that, because they could be very useful in other ways too. But that's something else and another subject. But I just have to point out something about, sexual health. There's a lot of gimmicks out there. And a lot of these pills that are contained, the penis erection pills and stuff, one of the main ingredients in there, besides one of those herbs I mentioned, maca or tonillin, is arginine. It's just a protein which can be found in spinach. So you can do the same thing as those mega dollar pills by just making spinach, adding various herbs to it, like as mentioned in the orange herb. Was it turmeric and black pepper, some regular red peppers, hot peppers, and oregano, basil leaves, and rosemary leaves to it, things like that. And then you could buy these products separate, but they don't always work on everybody always the same way. I heard like Yohimbe's a good one. Now the one I think is not that great is horny goat weed. That's a Chinese herb, and that's fairly expensive, so I don't even think it's good to put a list on here. These are more worthwhile for the money. And like I said, the cheapest ones are maca, tribulus, tonka ali, and yohimbe. And combine that with spinach and maybe some like macadamia nuts and things like that, where you have good sources of proteins, and whole eggs. Whole eggs is another one. I also want to point out with nutrition, a lot of women are always looking to get a slim waistline, right? They want that slim waistline. One of the best things to do is, it's low carbs, but it's high fats. High fats, and coconut oil is one of the best places to get energy from, because it doesn't spike your insulin at all, and it does not go to fat. At the same time, it also promotes elasticity of the skin, and it's also very good for the digestive system. And if you want something with 0 calories, take some aloe vera juice. So that's another thing that you can eat too, or apple cider vinegar. Actually, sexual health and regular health are very much related. And there's another thing that's extremely important for sexual health, for male and female. Actually, probably, it could be aerobic activity, because anything that creates more circulation in the blood is actually good for sexual stamina too. You know, the heart pumps the sexual organs, so that's a very important thing too to consider. And it's just something that they can't bottle in a pill for $50 a bottle, because I've noticed there's a lot of stuff out there, products that are costing, you know, $50 to $70 a bottle or $50 a month. We get you on this program, and you know, they always sell to the males. Now you have a 10-inch penis and stuff. It's a bunch of bullshit. But arginine is one of the main ingredients, and like I said, you can get that out of spinach for $1 a bag. Another thing is, I'll mention this with male health. Every time there's an ejaculation of the male, they lose a whole recommended daily allowance of the mineral zinc. I don't know if that's well known, but that's one reason that males need to take more zinc than females, because actually in ejaculation, one recommended daily dose of zinc is lost. So, you know, you might want to take, you know, quite a bit more zinc than you do females, especially if you're playing around more. And actually, if you want to look at some of the videos I have out there, because I've really kind of presented it in a tame way, I personally think STDs are a thing of the past. I personally think that. And I put out some controversial things about, see, I think the stuff with AIDS and cancer are pretty much, they're just cash cows for the money, the medical establishment. They're never going to find a cure for them. And there is stuff out there that diminishes like HIV problems and stuff like that greatly. I'll put it to that way. Maybe it's not a cure, but you know, reading back these blogs and bulletin boards, not blogs where people sell it, but actually feedback and tests from people that use these devices, microelectricity that was developed by, perfected by Dr. Robert Beck, PhD. You know, they took like the viral load down to like practically nothing. Then they stopped. But you know, I have to say this also about people who are into, you know, pleasure too much. They usually have this death wish inside of them. So no matter what you do, they will, even if you told them what to do, they won't do it. They won't do it. That's really the way they are. They do not want to live. I think they have a death wish. It's the same reason people might smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day and drink themselves to death. They'll do it with sex. They'll do it with anything else. So, but I'm stating that a lot of life can be improved greatly. With sometimes if you want to mess around, try a little bit experiment with some of these herbs I mentioned up here. The spinach thing is not just a male thing. It could be a female thing. But I can get onto this subject for a lot of hours, so I'm probably going to cut it off right here. But these are things, so if you're planning on storing up food, which goes along with farmland, you might want to have a lot of freeze-dried spinach, so to keep up your stamina during the collapse of the government and all this kind of stuff, and your liquor and your wine. And diamonds, just make sure she don't run away with them while she's wearing them and that type of stuff. But you know, as far as you know, investing too, like I said, the other side of the coin is protecting your investment, and secrecy is a big thing. That actually is one of your big problems today, because you can lose out like crazy. And I've noticed, everybody noticed that women can be, well, they're very shrewd. They're a lot shrewder than most males are, by far. That's a fact. And maybe not mathematically orientated, but manipulative or very orientated. So I'm going to say one thing: if you're investing, make sure you keep your investment secret. Always keep it secret. That's a very, very important consideration. You do not ever want to tell your partner or partners what's going on. Never tell them nothing. You give them vague hints, but you know, it's something, that a subject that really needs to be avoided, you know. So I never talked about that with anybody else. I'll just tell them about health, that kind of stuff, but never about what you have. That's a major mistake. So a lot of times people are collecting silver, they might be bragging too much. And like I said, with silver, you should not get too lopsided on one investment, because it's probably a cardinal rule out there. There's no such thing as a safe haven, ever. Safe havens change. Real estate was a safe haven back in 2000 or in the late 90s. It changed. Right now, gold and silver looks like a safe haven. I think silver is actually, and palladium is going to be the big, Palladium actually probably is going to be the biggest safe haven right now for where it's priced. Very, very unpopular statement for most people. But, they'll figure it out. But if it goes way up, it's no longer a safe haven. That's the rule. But never tell anybody what you got. That's a major mistake. That is probably your biggest investment mistake you could possibly make. Blabbing too much about what you have. So I'll leave you with that.